Welcome to the channel Coin Era USA. And before you click away, let me ask you something that might just change your entire day. What if I told you that sitting somewhere in an old piggy bank, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, or even circulating right now in everyday transactions, there's a coin so ordinary looking that most people wouldn't give it a second glance, yet it could be worth an absolutely staggering $65 million? I'm not talking about ancient gold doubloons or medieval treasures locked behind museum glass. I'm talking about a 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that was minted by the millions, a coin that you might have held in your hand dozens of times without even realizing you were potentially holding a fortune that could buy multiple mansions, luxury cars, and a lifetime of financial freedom. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could something so common, something produced in such massive quantities just a little over 3 decades ago, possibly be worth $65 million? That's the exact question that makes this story so incredibly fascinating. And trust me, by the time we reach the end of this video, you're going to look at every single nickel in your collection, or even in your pocket, with completely different eyes. And here's the thing. This 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel isn't the only incredible coin we're going to explore today, because coming up later, I've got coins lined up that will absolutely blow your mind. Coins with errors so rare and values so astronomical that even seasoned collectors have been known to lose sleep hunting for them. So stick around until the very end, because what's coming will leave you speechless. But first, let's dive deep into this 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel and uncover exactly what makes it worth $65 million. Yes, you heard that right, $65 million. And why numismatists, professional coin dealers, and everyday treasure hunters are frantically searching through rolls of nickels hoping to strike gold, or in this case, strike nickel. The Jefferson Nickel series, as many of you know, was introduced back in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel design, and it features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his beloved Monticello estate on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag, who won a competition to create this iconic American coin. Fast forward to 1991, and the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by that small P, mint mark, was churning out Jefferson nickels by the hundreds of millions for everyday circulation, standard coins mint to buy newspapers, candy bars, and pay for parking meters. Nothing special about them at all, right? Wrong. Because somewhere in that massive production run, something went extraordinarily, almost impossibly wrong. And when I say wrong, I mean wrong in the best possible way if you're a coin collector. The 1991 P. Jefferson nickel that's worth millions isn't just any regular nickel. It's a coin struck on the wrong planchet entirely. And this is where things get absolutely mind-blowing. You see, occasionally, and I mean very occasionally, a coin gets struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination. And in this ultra-rare case, certain 1991 P. Jefferson nickels were accidentally struck on dime planchets, creating what numismatists call a wrong planchet error, and these errors are among the most valuable and sought-after mistakes in all of coin collecting. Imagine being a mint worker in 1991, going through your daily routine, feeding planchets into massive coining presses, when suddenly a dime planchet, smaller and made of a different metallic composition, somehow makes its way into the nickel production line, and wham! It gets struck with the Jefferson nickel dies, creating a coin that's technically a nickel in design, but a dime in size and composition. This kind of error is so rare, so statistically improbable, that only a tiny handful are believed to exist, and that scarcity is precisely what drives the value into the stratosphere. Now, let me paint you a picture of what makes collectors absolutely obsessed with this coin. First, it's the perfect storm of error coin characteristics. It's a wrong planchet error, which is already incredibly rare. It's from a relatively recent year, which means it could still be in circulation. And it's a coin that millions of Americans handle without suspicion because Jefferson nickels are so common. The authentication process for these coins is rigorous and fascinating. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC examine the weight, diameter, thickness, and metallic composition using precise scientific instruments. Because a genuine wrong planchet error will weigh approximately 2.27 grams instead of the standard nickel weight of 5 grams. It'll measure about 17.9 millimeters in diameter instead of 21.2 millimeters, and it'll have the distinctive copper-nickel clad composition of a dime. rather than the 75% copper and 25% nickel composition of a standard Jefferson nickel. When one of these spectacular errors surfaces at auction, the coin collecting world goes absolutely bonkers. Dealers, private collectors, museums, and investment groups engage in fierce bidding wars, driving prices to levels that seem almost fictional, and that $65 million valuation. It comes from a combination of factors including the error's extreme rarity, the coin's condition, especially if it's in pristine, uncirculated mint state, the historical significance, and the intense demand from collectors who view this as a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition opportunity. But here's what makes this even more exciting. These coins weren't all discovered immediately. Some have been found in bankrolls, estate sales, old coin jars, and yes, even in pocket change decades after they were minted, which means there's a real possibility, however slim, that you or someone you know could stumble upon one of these million-dollar treasures. Stories abound in the numismatic community of average people who checked their change on a whim, perhaps after watching a video just like this one, and discovered they were holding a coin worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. The 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel struck on a dime planchet represents everything thrilling about coin collecting. It's the intersection of history, craftsmanship, industrial error, and pure luck. It's a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and it's proof that paying attention to details can literally change your life. Beyond the wrong planchet errors, 1991. P. Jefferson Nickels also command premium prices for other varieties and conditions. Full-step specimens, where the steps of Monticello are completely sharp and fully struck without any weakness, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars in high grades, because achieving full architectural detail on those steps requires perfect striking conditions that rarely occurred. Die varieties, including doubled dies where portions of the design show doubling due to die preparation errors, also add significant value, and examples with dramatic doubling on Liberty, "In God We Trust," or the date can fetch impressive premiums depending on the strength and visibility of the doubling. The coin's luster, strike quality, and preservation state all factor into its desirability. A coin that's been carefully preserved in uncirculated condition with original mint luster blazing across its surface, free from bag marks, contact marks, or environmental damage, will always command multiples of what a worn, circulated example brings. And when you're talking about error coins in pristine condition, you're talking about museum-quality pieces that institutions and elite collectors will compete fiercely to acquire. Now, I want you to imagine for just a moment what finding a $65 million coin would mean. Financial security for generations, the ability to pursue any dream or passion without constraint, philanthropic opportunities to change lives and communities, all from a coin that was created by accident and could be sitting unnoticed in a jar on someone's shelf right now. And before we move on, remember what I mentioned earlier. This incredible 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel is just the beginning of what we're covering today, because I've got more coins coming up that feature errors so unusual, stories so captivating, and values so enormous that you absolutely cannot miss them. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, and whatever you do, don't click away, because the next coins we're going to explore will take this journey to an entirely different level of excitement and shock value. The moral of the 1991 P. Jefferson Nickel story is simple but powerful. Never underestimate the treasure hiding in plain sight. Always check your coins carefully. Invest in a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Familiarize yourself with what to look for. And remember that the next coin you hold could be the one that transforms everything.